So today we are going to discuss about the last step of metallurgical process, and that step is known as purification or refining. In fourth step I have mentioned we will get the crude metal from the metal oxide. Crude metal means it is containing still some impurities. So the removal of last trace of impurities from the crude metal, that is known as refining or purification. The remaining impurities from the crude metal can be removed by purification or refining. So it may be defined as removal of last trace of impurities from the crude metal, that is known as refining or purification, and this can be done by following techniques. The refining or purification of the crude metal can be done by following methods, and the first one is known as liquefaction method. The first one method is known as liquefaction method, and basic principle of this method is difference in melting point. Basic principle of this method is difference in melting point. Impurities should have higher melting point than the pure metal, and in this method the crude metal is strongly heated in a sloping hearth furnace. In a sloping hearth furnace, due to which the pure metal get converted into liquid while impurities remains in the solid state. That's why this method is known as liquefaction method. I am repeating, in this method the impure crude metal is heated in a sloping hearth furnace or reverberatory furnace having a sloping hearth, due to which the pure metal get converted into liquid and impurities remains in solid state. That's why this method is known as liquefaction method. The second technique for purification or refining of the metal, that is known as distillation method. In 11th class we have discussed about distillation. The basic principle of distillation is difference in boiling point. The basic principle of distillation method is difference in boiling point, and the distillation process on basis of technique can be further of following type. The first one is simple distillation. Simple distillation is used when boiling point difference is from 30 to 50 degrees centigrade. Simple distillation is used when boiling point difference is from 30 to 50 degrees centigrade. The second one is fractional distillation. Second type of distillation is fractional distillation, and this method is used when boiling point difference is from 10 to 15 degrees centigrade. When boiling point difference is from 10 to 15 degrees centigrade. The third type of distillation is known as steam distillation. This method is used when the substance can undergo thermal decomposition or heating. Then simple steam distillation can be used, for example aniline. And the fourth one is vacuum distillation. Or distillation under reduced pressure. This method is used for substance which can undergo thermal decomposition at their boiling point. For them, we can use the vacuum distillation or distillation under reduced pressure. Fifth type can be of destructive distillation. As name suggesting, destructive distillation means the distillation in absence of air. Distillation of a substance in presence of air, that is known as destructive distillation, and by destructive distillation coal is converted into coal tar and wood is converted into charcoal. Coal is converted into coal tar and wood is converted into charcoal. Now, one more thing that has been discussed in your solution chapter 2. What are azeotrophs? Azeotrope or constant boiling mixers. Azeotrophs or constant boiling mixers. Azeotrope or constant boiling mixers. Those substances or mixers which have same composition during distillation process. Those mixers which retain their composition or which have same composition during distillation process or which have same composition in liquid phase as well as vapor phase, those are known as azeotropes. And the azeotrope can never be purified by distillation. Azeotrope can never be purified by distillation. The third technique for purification of crude metal, that is known as electrolytic refining. Very important one. Electrolytic refining. Electrolytic refining. And its basic principle is electrolytic decomposition. Its basic principle is electrolytic decomposition or electrolysis. And in this method, the impure metal rod, in this method, the impure metal rod and metal strip, pure metal strip, are suspended in aqueous metal salt, aqueous metal salt as an electrolyte. In this method, impure metal rod and pure metal strip are suspended in molten metal salt as electrolyte or aqueous metal salt as electrolyte, and these two electrodes are connected with a battery. These two metal electrodes are connected with a battery, and impure metal rod will act as anode. Impure metal rod will act as anode, and pure metal rod will act as cathode, as shown in the figure. As shown in the figure. And when current is passed from the battery, the pure metal from anode start to deposit at cathode. The pure metal from anode start to deposit at cathode, and at the end, the impurities remains as anode mud, and as shown in the figure. I am repeating. Questions may be in your exam. What is electrolytic refining? This method is based on electrolysis or electrolytic decomposition. Impure metal rod and metal strip are used as electrodes, and they are suspended in aqueous metal salt or molten metal salt as electrolyte, and these two electrodes are connected with the battery. Impure metal rod is used as anode, pure metal rod is used as cathode, and when current is passed, then the pure metal from anode start to deposit at cathode, and at end the impurities remains like anode mud. And in the anode mud of copper, we will get silver and gold as traces. Silver and gold as traces in anode mud of copper. This question has been asked in your competitive. Second example of it is the refining of aluminium. Refining of aluminium is also done by the electrolytic method, and that process is known as Hobbs process. That method is known as Hobbs process. Question may be in your objective exam. Next, fourth method is fourth method for refining of crude metal. That method is known as Poling method. That method is known as Poling method. Poling method. And Poling method is used for those metals which contain metal oxide as impurity. Generally, copper is purified by this method. This method is used for the metals which contain metal oxide as their impurities, and generally copper is purified by this method. And in this method, the molten crude metal is stirred with a green log of wood. I am repeating, in this method, molten crude metal is stirred with a green log of wood, due to which the hydrocarbon of wood combined with oxygen to get removed as volatile oxide. Hydrocarbon from the wood combined with oxygen to get removed as volatile oxide, and we will get the pure metal. Generally, copper is purified by this method, and that's why it is known as Poling method, as stirring is done with a green log of wood. Next technique for purification, that is known as cupellation method. Cupellation method. In objective question may be there, which method is purified by cupellation method? Then our answer will be silver metal is purified by cupellation method. Silver metal is purified by cupellation method. Next one is besmerization. Besmerization method. Besmerization method. I have mentioned besmerization technique is used to convert cast iron into steel. Besmerization technique is used to convert cast iron into steel. Next one is amalgamation method. Amalgamation method. Amalgamation method. These are generally objective questions asked in your exams. In this method, mercury is used to purify the metal, and generally gold and silver are purified by amalgamation method. Gold and silver are purified by amalgamation method, or they are separated from lead by this technique, amalgamation method. Next one is zone refining. Very important technique. Zone refining, generally asked in your exams. Zone refining, very important technique. Question may be there, what is the basic principle of zone refining? Basic principle of zone refining is the impurities are more volatile in molten state than solid state. The impurities are more volatile, more mobile in molten state than solid phase. The impurities are more mobile in molten state than solid phase, and this technique is generally used for the metals which are required in highly pure form, like germanium, tin, and silicon. Those are purified by zone refining, as these metals are known as sturgetic metals. And in this method, an electrical heater is run. An electrical heater is run over a impure metal rod. An electrical heater is run over impure metal rod for a number of times. An electrical heater is run over a impure metal rod for a number of times as shown in the figure, and due to which all the impurities get accumulated or concentrated one end. In this method, an electrical heater is run over impure metal rod, due to which all impurities get accumulated at one end or one concentrated at one end, and that end can be cut off to get the pure metal. Next method that is also very important and generally asked in your board exam too, and that technique is known as vapor phase refining. Vapor phase refining. Vapor phase refining. Vapor phase refining. Vapor phase refining, as the name suggesting, in this technique, the impure metal is reacted with a suitable substance to form a unstable intermediate, and then that substance on thermal decomposition will give the pure metal and the substance back. That's why this technique is known as vapor phase refining. In this method, the impure metal is first reacted with a suitable reagent to form unstable substance, and that unstable substance on thermal decomposition will give us the pure metal. An example of this are two. The first one is Mond's process, generally asked in your board exam. Mond's process. Mond's process, and this technique is used for purification of nickel metal. Mond's process is used for purification of nickel metal, and in this method, impure nickel is reacted with carbon monoxide. Impure metal is reacted with carbon monoxide at a temperature of 375 Kelvin, due to which we will get an unstable complex tetracarbonyl nickel. Unstable complex tetracarbonyl nickel, which on thermal decomposition at 640 Kelvin temperature will give the pure nickel and carbon monoxide back. And this technique is known as Mond's process. Mond's process is used for purification of nickel. And the second technique is Van Arkel process. Second technique is Van Arkel process. Van Arkel process. And this technique is used for purification of zirconium and titanium. This technique is used for purification of zirconium and titanium. And in this method, zirconium and titanium are reacted with iodine to form an unstable complex, which on thermal decomposition in vapor phase will give the pure metal and iodine back. And this technique is known as Van Arkel process. So Van Arkel process is used for purification of zirconium and titanium. First unstable complex is formed with iodine, that on thermal decomposition give the pure metal and iodine. And next technique for purification or separation of the substances, that is very important one, commonly used nowadays, and that is chromatography. 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 I have explained. Chromatography was first of all being introduced by a biologist, T. Sweat, for separation of colored pigment. First of all, it was being used by a biologist, T. Sweat, for separation of colored pigment from the plants, and its basic principle is selective adsorption and selective desorption. Its basic principle is selective adsorption and selective desorption, but keep it in mind, nowadays it is the most modern technique and the most efficient technique for identification of or separation of the components. Now we have to discuss about uses of metals in our daily life. Metals in our daily life, our each and every aspect of our daily life is being influenced by the metals, as metals are used for making of coins, and those metals which are used for making of coins, they are known as coinage metals. question may be there. Give example of coinage metal, or what are coinage metals? Coinage metals are those metals which are used for making of coins are known as coinage metal, and generally group 11 element or copper, silver, gold, they are known as coinage metals. Copper, silver and gold, they are known as coinage metal because these are used for making of coins. Next, the metals are important for economy and defense of a country. The metals are important for economy and defense of a country. And those metals which are important for economy and defense of a country are known as strategic metals. Those metals which are important for economy and defense of a country, those are known as strategic metals. Example is aluminum, germanium, tin, chromium. These are the strategic metals. Next, the metals are used for making of utensils, machinery tools, conducting wires. Generally, aluminum and copper are used for making of conducting wires, but the best conductor of electricity is silver. But due to next one are metals are used for making of alloys. Metals are used for making of alloys. This question is also very important for our daily life too. What are alloys and what are, give an example of few alloys. Alloys, as name is showing, alloys are the homogeneous mixture of a metal with other metal or non-metal. They are known as alloys. The homogeneous mixture of a metal with other metal and non-metal, that is known as alloy. And alloys are formed to change the properties of the metal and use it, and it is to make it useful in our daily life. Alloys are made to change the properties of the metal and use and make it useful in our daily life. And few examples of alloys generally asked in your exams I am mentioning. First of all, I am telling about the alloys of copper. Alloys of copper. Alloys of copper. The first alloy of copper is bronze. Bronze. And bronze contains copper metal, that is 80%, zinc metal, that is 10%, and tin metal, that is 10%. Bronze is an alloy containing copper 80%, zinc 10%, tin 10%, and it is used for making of statues, coins and conducting wire. It is used for making of coins, conducting wire and statues and medals. Next one is brass. Brass. And brass contains two metals, copper 80%, zinc 20%. Brass, copper 80%, zinc 20%, and it is used for making of utensils. It is used for making of utensils. Next one is gunmetal. Gunmetal, and it is used for making of barrel of the guns. It is used for making of barrel of the guns, and it contains copper 90% and tin, that is 10%. Gunmetal contains copper 90%, tin 10%, used for making of barrel of the guns. Next one is bell metal. Bell metal. So it is used for making of gongs and the bells. Gongs and the bells, and it contains copper 80%, tin 20%. Next one is very important one, and that is German silver. German silver. Very important one. Generally asked in your competitive exam. German silver contains copper 60%, zinc 20%, and nickel 20%. Copper 60%, zinc 20%, nickel 20%. So keep it in mind. German silver contains 0% silver, and it is used for making of silver wares. Used for making of silver ware or artificial jewelry. Next one are alloys of iron. Alloys of iron. Alloys of iron, very important one. And the first one is stainless steel. Stainless steel used for our daily used utensils. Stainless steel. Stainless steel contains iron 73%, chromium 18%, nickel 8%, carbon 1%. I am repeating, stainless steel contains iron 73%, chromium 18%, nickel 8%, and carbon 1%. Next one is invar, very important one. It is used for making of pendulums. It is used for making of pendulums and meter scale, and it contains iron 64%, nickel 36%. Invar is the alloy used for making of pendulums. Next is manganese steel. Manganese steel, and it contains iron 86%, magnesium 13%, carbon 1%, and it is used for making of machinery tools. Machinery tools. Next one is tungsten steel. Tungsten steel. It contains iron 94%, tungsten 5%, carbon 1, and it is used for making of high-speed cutting tools. High-speed cutting tools. And the next one is perm alloy. Perm alloy, very important one. It is used for making of electromagnets. It is used for making of electromagnets, and it contains iron 21%, nickel 78%, carbon 1%, and it is used for making of electromagnet, as it will retain the magnetic property after removal of electric field. It will retain the magnetic properties after removal of magnetic field. Next one is alloys of aluminum. Alloys of aluminum. These are also very important in our daily life. The first one is aluminum bronze. Aluminium bronze. Aluminium bronze. It contains copper 90%, aluminium 10%, and it is used for making of metals, coins, conducting wires. Next one is duralumin. Dura-aluminium. Dura-aluminium. Here it contains aluminium 95%, copper 3%, manganese 1%, and magnesium, that is also 1%, and it is used for making of wings of aeroplanes. It is used for making of wings of aeroplane. Next one is magnaluminium. Magnaluminium. It contains two metal, aluminium and magnesium. Aluminium, that is 90%, magnesium 10%. It is also used in aircraft. And the last is alnico. Alnico alloy. It contains four metal, aluminium, iron, nickel and cobalt. It is used for making of permanent magnets. Here aluminium is 50%, iron is 50%, aluminium is 20%, nickel is 20% and cobalt is 10%, and it is used for making of permanent magnets. It is used for making of permanent magnets. Now a very important alloy generally may be asked in a competitive exam, and that is electron. Electron alloy. It is used in aircraft industry. Electron alloy. It is the alloy of magnesium actually, and it contains magnesium 95%, zinc 4.5%, and copper 0.5%. It contains magnesium 95%, zinc 4.5%, copper 0.5%. These are the various alloys which are used in our daily life. Questions may be there. One more important question: what are mixed metal? What are mixed metal? Mixed metal are actually alloys of iron with lanthanoids. Alloys of iron with lanthanoid are known as mixed metal. I hope you understand today's topic. It is very important for your NDA exam, your competitive exam, board exam too, and in GK exams. Generally, questions may be regarding about the composition and usage of various alloys. I hope you understand. With this, we come to the end of this chapter. Some basic principle of extraction of element. Tomorrow onward, we will start a new topic, and that is GOC, General Organic Chemistry, which has been discussed in 11th class 2. Previously, I have uploaded few videos, but I will repeat from the beginning. Till then, thank you and stay connected.